Good evening. Hello. Thank you for joining me for a talk with Ms. Ruth. I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you're in situations and your feelings sometimes decide what happens next before you do? Your feelings can get in front of your thoughts about how you're going to handle a situation. That's normal. It happens. It happens as a way that our body, our mind, our energy gets you going. And sometimes it's habits. Hey, Melody, we're talking about uncomfortable feelings. Those normal human reactions. Let's look at some of them. Disappointment. Hey, Noel. Disappointment. Feeling a little embarrassed. Feeling guilty. Feeling disappointed. Unrecognized. Taken for granted. And one of the things that is so common that happens, these reactions and how we jump into handling things, is because we learn them in our families. We have developed habits as we've encountered the way to deal with everyday life. And Ms. Ruth Wisdom is all about coming together with you to talk with Ms. Ruth about those everyday situations. I'm talking for real, everyday situations, because that's where we can practice. I mention often that we build our confidence and our clarity about who we are in our world when we practice being authentic and clear in those everyday situations that we want to handle better, or where really there's no consequence on how I handle them. So why don't I practice some of the things that I'm learning in my talks with Ms. Ruth? So I'm hoping when you leave here today that you're going to say, let me practice some of those one-liners, some of those very simple statements that if I saw the opportunity after something happened to stop, recognize that I'm having a feeling. There's a word now that is kind of popular. It's, I'm feeling some kind of way about this. Maybe it's general and it's not specific, but I definitely am starting to sit in my feelings. And I'm suggesting that's a wonderful opportunity. Instead of sitting in your feelings or letting your feelings capture the moment, and you do or you say what you've always done or said, recognizing that I've got choices. And I'm at a time in my life where I'm ready to do some things differently. Why not? Why not look at possibilities and options that could work better for me in the experiences that come up consistently? And that's the beauty of becoming wiser. And for me, being a modern elder, knowing that I can share with you some things that I've learned for sure, for sure. So I'm going to take a couple of examples, but I welcome you to give me your examples too. You can send me comments or questions on my YouTube channel or by reaching out to me on MsRuthWisdom.com, MsRuthWisdom@gmail.com. But let's take some common situations because we have uncomfortable feelings most frequently with friends, family, and in work situations. Let me start with one that is kind of easy to identify with. That's when the family members are deciding where they're going to eat, where we're going to go today. And there's one place that always comes up, and you always go along, even though you'd rather not. That's a great time to say, let me practice here. Let me just kind of look at how I feel about that place that I've never acknowledged. And don't say anything. Just go on and do it. But next time it comes up, that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity to say, what options would I like to suggest? So have a restaurant option in mind. But you say, could we try something different this time? And then check out how everybody responds. A lot of times they're going to say, well, what do you mean? Why? I just like to do something different, experience something different. That's a one-liner. So you might end up going to the same place because the vote is, nah, we're going to go here. Next time it comes up, because you're in a family that goes to the same restaurant, it's really very noisy in there. I'd like for us to choose another option, and really impress on the folks that you've given some thought to it. Again, stop, experience the moment, and decide if you're going to go on or not. You can go on. But again, this is something that keeps coming up with these folks. So option 3 would be, you guys, on my diet, everything on that menu is fried. And I'm just going to opt out. Or maybe I'll meet you there for cocktails. Maybe I'll come for dessert. But I really think I really would like for you to consider other restaurants that work and where we can all have fun too. So those are some ways that we build a bridge from uncomfortable feelings into offering options for yourself. Options for yourself, where you are beginning to experience the comfort and the clarity that comes from your being okay with being different or having a different point of view. Can I give you another example? Now, you can change the language in it or the family dynamic in it, but here's the storyline. In many families that I've encountered and I've worked with over the years, there's often one person who's done exceptionally well financially, career-wise, and they find themselves over time being the one who's approached to lend money that they know may never be paid back. It's a loan, but it's not a loan. Or as mom and dad get older and need more support, family members look to that person to come up to meet the expenses, the medications, the equipment, the home health care, the changes to the house that require investment. And for that person, there can begin to be a feeling of resentment that is taken for granted, that is expected. So the feelings are feelings that we begin to need to deal with because this is not our expectation for our life. So, Ms. Ruth is always about the one-liners. There's a one-liner that is, no is a complete sentence, where you say, no, that's not how I propose that we handle this. Or more directly, an option is to say, I need to take some time and think about how I'm going to participate in this. A third option is, I've given a lot of thought to where we are, and I'm prepared each year. I'm building a budget. This is the amount that I'm prepared to contribute. The point isn't the one-liners that I'm saying to you. The point is that you begin to get out of your feelings about being in the situation and become comfortable with saying who you are in the situation. And again, I said these are family members. These are relatives, or these are close friends. I got another one though. I got this one and one more. ChatGPT, of course, is not wanting me to do all these examples, but the point isn't the example. The point is coming to a comfort with that space we talked about, I keep talking about, called the gap. The space between what just happened and what I'm going to do or say next. Those uncomfortable feelings are normal reactions that we have after what just happened. So what we're learning today, and we're talking about today, is those are normal reactions. Take a deep breath, anchor yourself, know that you can begin to guide yourself to what you're going to say or do next once you quiet the feelings, once you know they're normal, and once you realize it's that you believed that was all you could do in the moment. We're coming to a point as we look at our truth that we begin to see that we can trust, we can move, and we can be confident that there are other ways to handle our experiences that are different for us and also different for the people who have been in those experiences and expect you to be and show up the way you always have. The fun, and also the opportunity is that you're beginning to introduce people to parts of who you are that you would like for them to get to know. And I use that example. I use that statement to go into this next example. Let's say you're the cook in your family and your doctor has just told you that you're pre-diabetic and you must change your diet. You go home, tell the people in the household what the doctor has said, and you offer them the changes that you intend to make. And you get back, you have people tell you they don't want and they're not going to eat those foods. And there you are in the gap, in that place of what just happened. I feel not acknowledged. I feel dismissed. I feel discouraged and frustrated. So, what are you going to do or say? Here's some options. You start introducing one new item that you enjoy and that you are going to eat with enough to share. And you start eliminating some things that will be too tempting for you if they are on the table. And you don't get emotional about the complaints or the requests. You begin to realize that you are doing something for your life, for your well-being, for your ability to be present in their life for more than cooking their food. And you're making a statement that must be consistent. You can change that example into all kinds of interactions that have a habit, a routine, a pattern in your friendships, in your work relationships. I said I was going to give you one more. That one more is from a child you've had a nickname. In the South, it could be Bubba. It could be Sister Girl. It could be Little Baby. There's all kinds of nicknames that are very Southern. There's also nicknames like Junior, like Little Tom. There are all kinds of nicknames that come with a time of baby or young life or family. You didn't like it then, you don't like it now. There are feelings that are attached to that name that you have not stated. Again, an opportunity to say, please call me by my name, or I like my name. When they say Bubba, you say Jack. When they say baby sister, you say Catherine. You introduce them to what makes you happy to be called. That kind of change takes time. It also takes recognizing there are some people who will never make the change for whatever reason. There are people who will make the change and will enjoy making the change with you. There are still ways that for the people who never make the change, You, after it happens and you're in the gap, you look at them and you say, Catherine. And then you answer. Or then you do what you've been asked to do. What is that? That is practicing handling the moment between what happened, what you felt or thought, and what you do or say next. Tangible, manageable, simple, one-liners that build on your clarity about there's possibility for me on the other side of sitting for a moment, just a moment, people, in the uncomfortable feeling and realizing I gave it too much power. I gave it too much power. And then what happens is you start to realize you can practice on a lot of situations. And this is where we are in what Ms Ruth calls using low-hanging fruit to build your capacity for creating new life experiences that you are creating for yourself. Low-hanging fruit is the bridge through what just happened to those bigger experiences, those experiences that have much more weight, where you find yourself going into those other one-liners. Here's one. When someone asks you a question where you know that they've got a lot weighing on your answer and they drop it, and you start in the past shooting bullets, shooting answers, hoping you hit the center of the target. There's another way. It's a one-liner. Why do you ask? Could you give me a little more about why this is important? Or help me to understand how my answer is important to what we're working on here. One-liners, my guys, one-liners. This is another one. I guess I'm coming with them today. There's that person who is going to always make their case for whatever reason. Maybe because something has happened and they've got to go back in the past, up into the current, present, and then into the future. They want you to listen to it and they want you to agree with them. We all have those people. The one-liner is, I know you see it that way. I've had other experiences. I know you see it that way. These are the ways that I have come to know for sure that we build on a sense of clarity and confidence. And what I'm going to ask of you as you sit, I use again the word sit, as you reflect going into this time between our chat together, what are the uncomfortable feelings? Ask yourself that. What are the uncomfortable feelings that sometimes take over how I handle a situation where I could do or say something differently? What's the situation before the next time I get together with Ms. Ruth that I'm going to practice? Promise me. Say to yourself, Miss Ruth, I'm going to practice. Oh, here's another suggestion for you that builds confidence and clarity. Say the one-liner that you are going to practice out loud. Hear yourself saying it. Say it more than once. Hearing yourself say what you intend builds your clarity and confidence because you've taken it out of your mind and you've put it out into the universe. You have heard it. It has credibility and validity. Here's another tip for when you've decided to make new choices, when you've decided to handle a situation or an opportunity differently. Don't talk to other people about it, because when you do, you then have diluted the possibility by listening to other people's opinions and suggestions. What you are preparing to do is take it from your heart, your spirit, and your mind and speak it into reality. Confidence comes from that. You don't need permission. You don't need permission from someone else to be who you are, my dear. Be who you are. You don't need a committee. You don't need permission. You just need to practice. Practice being who you are. Getting to calm in the truth of who you are in that space between what happened and what you're going to do or say next. There's so much opportunity and possibility once you decide those uncomfortable feelings have no power over how you show up. You got me? Thank you. Thank you for showing up to listen. Please send me your feedback either on YouTube, on my channel, or Ms. Ruth Wisdom. That's Ms. Ruth Wisdom @gmail.com. I look forward to talking with you again. Thank you, and be well.